So there's this one thing that would make you perform better, feel more confident, and be happier. And whether it's studying, sports, music, art, whatever you do, there is this magical weapon that you could use to increase your working capacity. This is what makes athletes set records, artists and musicians to create masterpieces, and scientists to innovate. I know it's that profound. And what if I tell you that you could access this too? And all this magic is in getting into what we call the flow state. And in this video, I'll be telling you how to tap into the flow state anytime, anywhere. So basically, the flow state is getting into the zone. It's when you're so deep in work that the time seems to slow down and the background seems to fade and work just seems effortless. But is it easy to tap into, and can we get into the zone anytime, anywhere at our will? To do that, we need to understand how flow works. Now, we work in cycles, and these cycles have phases, and flow is just one such phase. So when we first start working, we are at the initial stage, which is the struggle. The struggle is when we're just starting off with the work. We don't really feel like working. We feel the need to push through, to force ourselves to do the work. We get distracted very easily, and we do feel like quitting. Now, at this stage, it's very important to push through and not give in to the urge to quit or get distracted. Because when we do quit or get distracted, we don't start where we stopped. We start at the very beginning, at the beginning of the struggle, and we have to do it all over again. So here, when we push through it and we get through the struggle, we're automatically pushed towards flow. The second phase is the release. This is when we have pushed through the struggle and we're starting to feel like we don't really need to force ourselves that much or push ourselves that much. We're starting to feel a bit more comfortable with the hard work that we're doing, and we feel a bit more at ease. This is when, if we need, we can take a break. But we have to remember that at this stage of release, if you are taking a break, you have to make it as short as possible, which means 5 to 10 minutes, and as non-distracting as possible. So that would mean no phones, no TV or anything distracting, because you don't want to step back into square one and start all over again with the struggle. Right. And all of this is worth it, because what comes next is the best, which is the third stage, that is flow. And flow is when, like I said, work feels effortless. You are in the zone working, time seems to slow down. And at this stage, the most important thing is maintaining it. So you want to maintain this flow as long and as much as possible. So again, key is no distractions. So keep your phones away, make sure that you don't have any noises. And maintaining flow is not just about peaking your performance. It has a lot more benefits. According to this book that I read on flow, it says that when you get into flow, you're absorbed in your task and it feels almost effortless. You're not thinking about the stresses from the rest of your life. Your sense of time is altered. You either feel that like time passes quickly or that it has slowed in a very helpful way. You don't feel self-conscious and your sense of self emerges stronger, and you want to repeat the task because it feels so enjoyable. And finally, we have the final stage, which is recovery. This is when you can get off your work and finally have some rest. Now, this rest has to be very intentional. And what I mean by intentional rest is going to sleep or taking a stroll in nature if that is possible, or basically doing something that is very calming. Again, no phones or TV or anything that is distracting, because these things just make your brain keep working. You need your brain to rest and recharge. So, in summary, we can increase our working capacity and peak our performance by getting into the flow state, which is getting into the zone. And this works in cycles. And when we start working, we have to go through the phases. First, the phase of struggle, and then release, and then we sit nicely in flow, after which we go through an intentional recovery. Now, the key to remember here is next time you are working and you feel a little struggle, you feel like you have to force yourself to work, Don't be discouraged. It's a good thing. It's a sign that you are in the correct path to get into flow, which you will get into eventually if you just push through. So that's it for today's video. I hope you found this useful. If you did, as always, please do remember to like and subscribe. And that's a wrap on this video. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.